of you have been asking me about Contra, so finally time to share what I know. I'm Rachel. You probably know me as UI James. Before we go, you know what's Contra? Contra is a freelance platform for independents as myself, creative designers, developers, project managers, and it's commission free. That's personally why I love Contra, because the money you earn on the platform is what you get 100%. So before going into what you can do to get a solid profile on Contra, let's take a step back to how I joined Contra. It was 2024. Some of you already know the story because I talk about it a lot online. So it was a very dark time, during that period, I was what we call broke. I had no money, obviously. I was depressed. I wasn't working, jobless for about 8 months out of 2024. And the 3 months I got to work with a company, I wasn't paid. I later on filed a lawsuit, but that's another story for another day. Then by October, I came online on X and I saw Dan Petty's post about Contra. That was my first time coming to Contra. So I went on to say, okay, what is this? And then I went to Contra, studied some freelancers profile and started building mine. And by November, I joined Contra, and after a week, I got my first client. And since then, I've been on the mission to make sure more creatives join Contra and earn more, because it boosted my confidence and it can do the same for you. So let's get into creating our Contra account. So first, we search for Contra. As you can see, I have contra.com/James because I have a profile, but for the purpose of this video, I'll be starting with a new account. So let's get into it. So clicking on Contra. So the first thing that caught me about Contra is their interface. As a designer, I appreciate every single detail. So it's like really clean. And I fell in love with the platform like at first sight. So let's start. So you can see the call to action say hire independent. On Contra, creatives like us are called independent, but we want to get hired. I want to get hired, so let's go get hired. So you'll be prompted to sign in, rather sign up. So I'll use my Google account for ease of use. So I'm signing in. One moment. And okay, so now we're in. The first thing we'll be prompted to do is tell Contra what brings us to the platform. If you're an independent, you're looking forward to getting hired. But if you're a client, you're looking forward to hiring someone. So let's go with I'm an independent. And now it's time to build our profile. So the first thing is a one-liner. What do you want to be known for? That's the thing. Are you a product designer? Are you a web developer? You just put that in. So mine will be product designer. So here's my one-liner. Okay, let's change that. So a skill, you should add up to 3 skills. My skill will be UX designer first. Let's see. Then web designer. So why you be prompted to ask skill? Because sometimes clients search based on your skill. So you need to put what you want to be searched for, what you want to be known for. And then you should select an hourly rate. So when I started Contra, I chose $25 to $50 per hour, but now I'm at $50 to $75 per hour because there are stages to this thing, there are levels to this thing. So you can replace your profile photo if it's not what you want, but for now, I'll leave mine as it is. So continue. So now you have to add your social link in a sense so Contra can know who is coming into their platform and from where. So this is, let me just add my X link. UI. And then my LinkedIn link is linkedin.com/ okay, so let's go with this. Let's see why. I remember that LinkedIn always requires that in. Okay, so next thing, you'll be prompted if you want to pay for monthly or yearly. That's a pro plan. And you have to pay for the pro plan if you want to get jobs now. But first, when I joined, it wasn't that way. You either paid or you get access from the team directly. I got access from the team. That's an invitation. But now it's not like that. But for now, we'll continue without membership. Let's see. Oh, here's Dan Petty. So we're in, I have my profile, and you can see Contra will give you a checklist on what you should do. That's to complete your profile, because once you get that, you'll be able to get discovered that from here. So the first thing we have done is we've completed our onboarding. The next is to add a featured image and a descriptive bio, and then add 3 projects as well as services. So let's just do that. First, our featured image. This should be your best work, what you've done so far. So for now, let me add something. Let's go to documents, Contra items. Let's use clear link. Let's choose one from the pictures. So let's use this. Or should we use this? Okay, that's fine. So it's uploading and it's done. So now you can see featured media saved. So my checklist has been completed for that. So I have to add a bio and 3 projects. So first, let's go to and about to add my bio. So I'm just adding what I want to be known for. So this is just about your about. Basically, don't think too hard on it. This is just a text to stay for the meantime. You can always edit this at any time. So that's done. Then back to where we were. So the next thing after that is to publish 3 projects. That's like the most self-timing thing you would have to do on Contra. So let's start with the first one. So you have the choice to import your work from Dribble or Behance if you're someone that have your case study there, because prior to now, 2022, all of us had our portfolio on Behance. So if you do have them there till now, you can just migrate to Contra by adding your Behance project link here and then import. But for this case, I'd be adding one manually. So let's start with the first project. Let's see. I have clear link. Let's see. So I'll start with passage. Okay, this is this. So once I've added my media image, I go down to type a description. So when adding project to Contra, one thing you should take note of is your description. You shouldn't just add images. Yes, you can present them really well, but at least you should let the client know how you think and how you see things. Basically communicate your design thinking process on everything you do. So it shouldn't be too lengthy. At the same time, this is not the place where you put in your full case study. No, because Contra is a very visual platform. The definite description of first impression matters. So you have to attract your clients immediately they come in and still allow them to stay, like capture their attention. So, and how you can do that is by adding your description. So the first thing, you can add like an overview of the project, what the brand is about. So let's just say, let me just say this instead. So once you've added your overview, the next thing you can do is like add the goal of the project. So what you want to achieve. And then the next is the challenges that you faced going for the goal. And then lastly, the solutions or outcome. What did you learn from this? And how did your solution benefit the business? So these 4 tips are very important on Contra. So now you just have to optimize your layout, Okay, this is too bold, my gosh. So let's just take out bold. Okay, so once you have this, the next thing to do is to add a live link of the project. Normally, when you're adding the final touch, you'll be prompted to do so. But I still like to add more of what I want on the project. That's live link. Let's see. So you click on embed, that's to add external content. And then add your link. You can also make a text link out of it. Let's create links, so you can do www.passage.com and it becomes a link. Then you continue. So you add different medias as well. That's one thing you should do. Add a ton of images. Presentation has a large focus on Contra. You should present your work as best as possible. So you can add a lot of images, videos, anything that shows your project the best way possible. Okay. So once you've added enough images or videos till you are satisfied, you can then click on continue. So for now, Contra is still uploading my media. That's my image, so I have to wait a bit. So sometimes it normally takes a minute for your file to be uploaded, especially if it's a bit large. But one thing you should take note of is high quality images on Contra. It goes a long way. So we have to wait for Contra to do its thing. Okay, now we're here. So we continue. Okay. So one thing Contra does now is verified projects. If you've done any project on Contra that's over $500, you can turn that project to a verified one. So for this profile, I'm just starting, so it's not a verified project. So we have our title, passage, website redesign. That was what this project was on. And then you show what you've done here. Your description should have the project overview, the goal, challenges, and solutions summarized. So one thing you should take note of here is adding metrics to the project. For example, you can say, I worked on passages website. This is marketing website. And the redesign led to 75%. So your description should hold more of what the outcome was for this project, what you solved for the business, and how that happened. So you have to use numbers. That's why you 75%. Metrics is very, very important. And then for clients who hired you for this project, as I said earlier, if it's a verified project, that means the client is on Contra. So you can basically type who the client is and see. So this is the client that I worked with, Passage. So I have them here. I can show the start date and the end date. This is optional. If you want to, you can do it. If you don't want to, you can move on. And then your live link will be pasted here. So this when clients view this profile, they can immediately click your completed work link and see what you've done. And then you add the skills used in this project, what went into it. So let's think UX research. I did a lot of research here. So yeah, there's the UX researcher. And then UI. So UI design and then web design. So the tools I used for this project with Figma. So you can add at most 3, but minimum of 1 to show what you did. So for those of us that also build a framer, that's a new code development tool. We can add framer to our tools when adding a completed work on Contra. So let's do that. So the industry of this project is on is education. So I'd leave it as that. And then we publish. Let's see. So you have to take note of your media sizes as well when publishing a post. Okay, so our post is published. So we have to be redirected. So we have our first project live. And as you can see, we have completed work here and the details of the project. If you click on it, the details, you see your description when it was posted, how many likes this project have gotten and how many views, as well as the tags. So this tag is very good for search on Contra. So if clients search any of those keywords, your profile will be one to pop up. So that's it. So we have our first project live. So we'll quickly do the same for the remaining 2. So we have our project live, and I'm wondering since I published it twice, but yes, we have that there. So I published it twice. That's even better. So let's go with the last one. So we have 3 projects now. We're done with adding the rest. So the next thing on our list is to link our wallet. And let's just go there. Add a country, Nigeria. As an individual. So your bank account is Nigerian. Verify your identity. So we're verifying with persona. Let's see. So we need to begin verifying. First name Rachel. James. Continue. Okay, so whichever you have, if it's a driver's license, national ID, passport, voter's card, you choose that and you apply. I already used my passport to verify, so I can't use that again for 2 accounts. So once you use your passport, national ID, or driver's license, if you're from Nigeria, you'll be asked for a TIN, and then you put in the number and your account or your wallet will be verified. So once it's verified, you'll be able to ask for, or rather apply for jobs. You're able to apply for jobs in the job profile. And to do so, it's 2 ways. If you're invited, that's fine, or you pay for Pro. I advise you pay for Pro because of the benefits. But once you pay for Pro, your account should look like this. So this is my current profile on Contra. I've been hired 8 times on the platform. I have a high rating of 5.0. So once you add your work, as you can see, I have 17 here. So after adding your wallet, the next thing to look out for is this number, your discovery score number, because I'm sure once you complete your checklist on Contra, your number should be 24 at least. Then you should start monitoring that number and making sure everything you do is to increase that number. And how can you increase that number? 1, adding more projects. You need more than 3 now. 3 was to make you discoverable. That means a client can search you on Contra. But now you need more than 3 to stand out. You need reviews. Very important. I advise a minimum of 4 reviews. If you can get more than that, excellent. But a minimum of 4. And then you need to add your services. So now going back to our previous, let's show you how to add a service. So get back to our profile and see. So services. Add our first service, create our first service. So the first thing I would choose is website design, and the title will be website design. For an engineer, not a developer. Says the word design and UI design. And then tools I use. You have to put in the tools. I use Framer. I use Figma and Framer. I use Miro as well. So you can put in as much as you like, a maximum of 5 tools though, and then select the industry. That's optional if you have a particular industry you like to work in, with healthcare, edtech, fintech, anyone. So now your deliverables. Your deliverables are what you give to the client once they hire you. So let's look at an example here from my profile. Let's see. So for website design, so this is what we have as our deliverables. That's what's included. So we have wireframes. So just copy this and paste because we are trying to be quick. So let's see. Wireframes. So you add as much deliverable, add as much as you'd give the client once they hire you. It should be very clear so the client knows exactly what you're talking about. Oops. 2 types. Okay, so once you're done with the deliverables, you add your description. The description is what the service is about. That's here. So you can just take this. I'll take this and just put it in here. So you just have to be clear on what the service is about, so your clients won't have to be thinking twice about what they want to do. And yes, you can see that these fields are optional, but they are highly recommended. I advise you don't miss them when creating your profile. You should show the process, because most clients, like any sales call, after that, like the onboarding, they want to know what your process is like, how they work with you. So it's very important to be very clear and state everything here. So this is my current process on my profile, from planning to discovery, score, exploration, structure, UI concept, the design, revision, handoff, and post-launch. So you can add as many as you want. It's basically you and your process. So let's see. Okay. Let's go back. Yes. Then FAQs as well. Okay, so add as much as you can. Let's just do this. Copy. Paste. Yes. To make it bold. So we have this. Now the next thing is FAQ. That's any question you think the client would want to know concerning your service. So the aim of this all is just to make sure your profile is as clear as possible. That's it. So the first question, who is this for? Another question is, how you communicate. So I'll just stop at 3 questions so we can move on. So how many changes can I request? Okay, so next is your pricing. You can go for a fixed rate. That's probably $1,000 for that particular service, or an ongoing rate, which is hourly, weekly, or monthly. If you want this to be, you say probably $50 per hour, and you can save that, or they contact you for pricing that, like custom rates. So for this, I'll go with a fixed rate of 1,000. Next, and then you can add like images to highlight your service. So let's select a file. Try to use custom images. Contra will give you a template if you don't select anything, but please always don't leave the template as it is. Select yours, create, design, cover images that could use for your services. So let's do website Contra. So we have this. Save. So our media has been uploaded. Let's see. Let's see if the image shows there. Yes, here we have it. So you just do the same thing for each of your servers. You just do the same thing. It should be very clear. Here we have it. You can see the duration, the starting price, and the skills and tools used. So once you've done adding your services, your projects, and add in your wallet, then you can ask for reviews, whichever you do first. But everything, all sections here should be completed to give you like the best optimization possible for your profile. And then back to my current profile. So this is what it looks like, and these are the other services. So once you add other services, you see them placed below the current service that the client is searching for. So in case you can check for like website design, and you also have website development, you see that beneath. So it definitely works. So now to the most important place on Contra, the job network. So let's head there. So one thing, I'm on the pro plan, so I can check for like most recent jobs. The jobs are just being posted. So one thing I do is I don't apply for jobs later than 4 hours, sometimes 2, but the max I do is 4 hours. I've seen a job that was posted a day, and I felt like if I was seen that earlier, I would have been really interested, but because it's been a day old, I know other freelancers as well would have applied for that job. So one thing I do, it's on my personal note, it doesn't work for everyone, but it just works for me. I don't apply for jobs older than 4 hours, so I always wait for like the latest jobs to apply for. But let's just take a look at an example of what the job looks like. So this is Framer Designer. I also build websites on Framer, so let's just take a look at the job posting. Okay, this is the client profile. Can also go to jobs to see the jobs he's posted on Contra. So this is the job introduction. This is what they're looking for, and this is what they want to get from the person that they're looking for, deliverables. So you have to read through what they're looking for. We're seeking a skilled designer to fix and refurbish an existing landing page created with Framer. So this site is already live, so they're just looking forward to hiring someone that can fix their website, and the delivery time is a week, and this is their budget for the project. So additional info is that they want the freelancer to be fluent in Spanish, probably because the person who posted the job or the founder will probably speak to you in Spanish, and this is the time, so you know if it's a time you can work in. So naturally, if it was someone who is fluent in English or a time where I work, I would apply, and how to do so is just clicking the apply button. So this is better. We have a name. Sometimes there are companies that will post on Contra, and once they do that, best thing is to find a name as well. So you can do that by searching their website. If you don't get a name, like I said earlier, it's good to go to LinkedIn to find the founder or co-founder's name. So you apply, type in the client's name, then rephrase what he said to be sure of what he wants, then say what you do, how you do it, and the timeline for it. Add your experience to show, add your experience as well as what you've accomplished. Ask questions. So first you need a name, and the thing with this is an individual. He's hiring as an individual, so you can see his name, but the name makes your cover or application letter personalized. And then rephrase what he said to be sure, so he will know that you actually understood what he wants. And then say what you do once they hire you for that project, how you do it, so you know exactly how you're going about it, and the timeline he'll take you. For example, the timeline for this is 1 week. If it will take you faster, like 3 days or 4, you can mention it in your application. And then add your experience as well as what you've accomplished so far. This is like where you bring in pride, a sense of pride, just a bit, into what you've done so far. Telling the clients what you've accomplished so they know that you're an expert and they can trust you to handle the project. And then lastly, ask questions. Always do. First off, it shows that you're thinking about how to solve the problem. And then second, it will propel them, it will push the clients to reply to you because you asked the question concerning the problem that you're trying to solve. And then once you do that, you can tell them that's a call to action. Lastly, tell them to schedule a call with you. So here you can add your cow link or your Calendly link, which is already here. You can still add that to the application letter, but those, if you have a calendar link, you see the area is already set up. But in any case where you don't make a cow link or another type of link where they can book a call with you, add that to your application letter, and then you link an example project. This is optional, but highly recommended because it shows the client what you've done similarly to what they're trying to solve. So if you've done something very similar to that project, you have to link in that example project. And there you have it. Once you link it in, like former sites that you've done, you link them a maximum of 3, and then you submit application. Once you submit, your application will be forwarded, and once the client view it, if they like what you did, you'll be hired. That's a very straightforward process. I tell you, Contra has made it very easy for independents as I to get jobs, and it's a very trustworthy platform. So once you've done that, that's how you go about things. So one thing to take note of is this notification section. Once a client views your application, you get a notification that it's been viewed. But if they don't view it, you won't get any application. That means they didn't see your application, so they probably hired someone else. I have a lot of people coming to me, beating themselves up, thinking they aren't doing enough. Meanwhile, the client didn't even see the application because some of them are really good. So you have to take note of that as well. And lastly, once you pay for Pro, to watch your score, because the score is one of the most important things on Contra, you have to check there, your discovery score page. That's the analytics, to watch what you're doing, where you're at, and how you can improve in your page. Let's see. So you have to take note of everything here to boost your ranking, because each time you reach a milestone, your score gets a boost. For example, the first time you join Contra, like my profile that I created, see here, I earned $0. I've been hired 0 times. I have 0 ratings and 0 followers. So it's a very empty profile. But the first time you earn, it will be recorded here that you've been hired once on the platform and you've earned the amount you've earned. And if anyone follows you, that's very good. And if you have ratings, aim for 5.0. If you can't, aim for 4.8 to give you an edge on Contra. So yes, my number of reviews so far is 9. Once I add another review, to make it 10, I'll have a boost again. And for the earnings, once you start, you get to reach a milestone. For the milestone in earnings is in 1K, 5K, 10K, 25K, 50K, 100K, and 250K. So once you've gotten to that amount on Contra, you get a boost for each time, and the point increases the farther you reach. Also, Verified Project is an add-on that Contra recently brought, which I think is very cool. So if you work on any project on Contra, you bring a client into Contra, or the client hire you from Contra, but the project is basically over $500, you can add that to a verified project on Contra, which is like really cool, because the more verified projects you add, the more boost you have. So you start with 2, the first one you have will give you a boost, then 4, then 10. And that's how you go. And then community. For now, community is still in beta, as you can see, so not everyone has access, but you can still reply and receive reactions on the community, and the more you do, you still get a boost. So one thing I like about Contra is this can be very, very streamlined, and so that can be very detailed. So this is my whole analytics for like my profile overview. But if you come here, instead of overall, and you click on whatever skills you have, for example, web designer, you see that things will change. See, now my point is 217, and this is what I need to do to boost my ranking. So you come here, you watch them, and then you come to this way. Each time you go for a specified skill to check your analytics, you come down here to your profile project quality, and then you check every single thing you do here adds a boost to your profile. As I said, the main aim is to keep increasing your score, because the higher it goes, the more opportunities you have on Contra. So the tags you used are being here. For example, if you notice, this is in web designer category. So Contra will bring up the projects that have web designer tag on them. So the amount so I have 10 currently of all the projects I have. I have 17 projects in total, but 10 of them are tagged web designer. So once I get to 17, I get another boost. So that's how it is. And then for services, I have one service that also has a tag web designer. So that's how Contra watches everything. That's why I always say add more projects, as many as you can. Quality project, please, because you need to use really high quality images as well to present your project. So that's how you go about it. Check into Pro has its advantages. And Contra is competitive in a healthy way, in a good way. It makes you become a better designer. And becoming a better designer, you earn more. So I think that's it. I think I've covered everything so far for Contra. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. You can follow me on X, on Instagram, or LinkedIn, anywhere you see me on my socials at UI James, and ask me a question, anything about Contra, and I'll be sure to answer you where I can. So I hope this answered the questions to everyone who's been on me to create this video. I appreciate you all, and finally, thank God I did. So that's about it. See you in the next video.